Guys, today we're taking a look at one of the unsung heroes when it comes to football gear, which is football socks. And I know, it might be a little bit unsexy, but even though you might have what is the perfect boot for you, the absolute perfect fit, well, if you have crappy football socks, you might end up having a bad experience anyway. So today, I'm gonna help you a little bit. I'm gonna give you my top 5 best football socks on the market in 2018. Now, you might have already seen the list I made back in 2017, but since I made that list, I've actually gotten to try a few socks that actually kind of blew my mind, and they've been the only ones I've really used, mostly since then. So today I wanted to spread the word and share the love by updating the list. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now, number 5 goes out to the OG player in the grip sock game, the TRUSOX, which will set you back €35. Technically, it is a premium tennis sock with suede-like elements on both the inside and the outside of the sock to kind of grip both your foot and the boot and more or less connect them to make sure that your foot won't slide around as much inside of your boot, and thus you lose a little bit of responsiveness, a little bit on the performance side. And while it is a very, very nice sock, it's pretty comfortable, and you also get some of the best grip out there. When you wear them and you wash them a little bit, you can get unlucky that some of the pads will get stuck underneath your foot in a weird position, and it might end up doing more bad than good. However, it's a very, very nice sock, and when it's new, it's got the strongest and most efficient grip of all the socks on the list. Still, a very, very good option. Number 4 then goes to the Adidas Alpha Skin, which will cost you €25. And just like the TRUSOX, by the way, they come in both a cushion, slightly thicker, more comfortable plush variant, and then this one, the ultralight, which is frankly a thinner variation. And it's just a good, nice, premium, high-quality sock. It feels good on feet, the materials are a little bit elasticated, and you get padded areas where you would normally have a bit of pressure points. And then of course, there is the big deal on the sock, the gray area underneath the foot, both on the inside and the outside of course, that gets extra grippy when you start to sweat. Basically, just like TRUSOX again, connecting your foot and the boot, preventing you sliding around and losing performance. And while the grip is good, it's actually very, very decent, it's not earth-shatteringly awesome, but it's good enough, and because the sock is so comfortable, it's just gone straight into my rotation. Now, number 3 on this year's list was actually number 1 on the list I made last year, the Nike Grip Socks, which are true workhorses at €28. Because they're extremely comfortable, the padding is great, there's a host of different thicknesses and levels of plushness, and then of course, there is the grip elements, which is basically the gray area here that functions in the same way as the stuff we saw on the Adidas socks. But of course, the Nike socks, they came out before. But it's this gray area that sits on the inside and the outside of the socks that's then activated with the grippiness when you start to sweat. And the thing I realized that compared to the Adidas socks, the grip in the Nike Grip Socks is simply a little bit better. It's a bit more aggressive, and I felt a little bit less movement compared to the Adidas sock I had on the other foot when I wore these. And while the grip isn't as aggressive as we see on, for instance, the TRUSOX, I would say it's better because it's more durable, and thus you get a more consistent grip over the sock's lifetime. And while they're still number 3, I like them a lot, and I still wear them all the time. Second place then goes out to a very interesting newcomer, which might technically be a sock, but that I also know the guys behind it, Storelli, would probably rather categorize as, should we say, an advanced form of insoles. With that said though, I would still see this as a sock, and the Speed Grip socks here at €35 are absolutely brilliant because while they are super, super thin and very, very stretchy, they also feel extremely premium and very comfortable on your foot. The headlight thing of the sock here is the Speed Grip elements though, kind of these suede-like elements that are very thin but also insanely grippy when they get activated when you start to sweat. And because of that, you can wear them both as a standalone sock directly on your skin, but actually the grip is so aggressive that to some people it might get too much. What you can then do is wear them on top of some normal non-grip socks and still get a pretty satisfactory level of grip. And that also means that if you have a pair of team socks that you don't want to cut up, you can just wear the Storelli socks on top and get more or less the same result. Or did I mention how comfortable they are? Basically, when I got these, I just started wearing them around the apartment because they were so nice. But before we move on to the best football socks your money can buy at the moment, let me give a shout out to some other decent options. The first one being the G48s, which basically uses the same concept as the TRUSOX, a slightly more cushioned tennis sock with silicone dots instead of suede elements. And then there's also the Nike Squad Crew option, which is extremely premium, feels really good, very cushioned, very comfortable, but then of course lacks the grip elements. But then again, for €10, this is pretty much as good as it gets. But number one, that's the stuff. Because the undisputed king of football socks, of course in my humble opinion, is the Falke Grip 4, setting you back €35. And if you're serious about your football socks and you haven't heard of these yet, well, honestly, you've been missing out a lot. Now, I hadn't heard about them when I made the 2017 list, and honestly, that was a big mistake because these are the best football socks I've ever worn by a country mile. The comfort is one thing, they're extremely premium on foot. The quality of the material is just up there. It's stretchy, it's thin, you get compression zones, there are a few padded areas around the ankle bones, and then of course there is the grip. Now Falke are using all these little silicone dots on the outside and the inside of the sock, of course, to give you a solid balance between feeling securely locked into the boot while not being too rough. And combining that with a solid durability, I've had mine for just under a year and they haven't started falling apart yet. You get what I think is the best consistency in a pair of football socks, grip-wise and longevity-wise, that I've probably ever tried. And the only bad thing I can say about the Falke socks is that they haven't been getting the attention that they deserve because they're not one of the big brands. So if you're considering getting a pair of new football socks, look no further than these. It's as simple as that. So there you go, my friends, the top 5 best football socks that your money can buy at the moment in 2018. And I do realize that they're all grip socks, but that's probably because I think that grip socks are just the way forward. Look, they even stick to the table. Anyways, guys, what do you think is the best sock on the market at the moment and what do you wear? You should let me know in the comment section right down below, because last time it was one of you guys who told me about the Falke socks, where at that point I didn't know about them. So spread the word, share the love, all that jazz. But if you want to go and actually upgrade your sock game, you can buy all of the socks on the list by clicking the link right over there. Then of course you should also go do yourself a favor, join the Unisport Live family by clicking the green bubble over my head, subscribing with the notifications on, of course. And while you've done that, go make sure you learn some cool skills by clicking the playlist right down here. So I'll see you later on in that video. I'm gonna sign off. Cheerio.